Hi, everybody. I'm back. What that means is I have not made a lesson or a public lesson for at least a year, maybe a year and a half. And I'm going to be returning those lessons. So you'll be seeing regular mountain dulcimer lessons, hammer dulcimer lessons, claw hammer banjo lessons, and concertina lessons. And they will all be free on my YouTube channel. But I wanted to talk about one of the most common questions that I am asked is how long should I practice? And it's not really a hard question to answer because I want to rephrase the question or actually maybe answer it in a different way. It is not so important how long you practice as it is how often you practice. So just think about this for a minute. If you were exercising, for those who exercise or remember exercising, you could exercise on Monday and just, exercise for an hour, and then you don't exercise again until 4 or 5 days later, and it's almost like starting over again. And when you exercise and you do it consistently, as often as you can, every day if you can, or every other day, and you keep in that habit, you're always strengthening. You're always moving forward. When you practice 1 day a week, and we'll leave it at that, and then you practice next week or exercise next week, you're not really making any progress at all. You're not helping your body. You're not really changing. You're not developing any habits. So it's not necessarily how long you practice, it's how often you practice. And the more often you practice, you start building muscle memory, you start building your knowledge, you start building habits, you start getting it down. And that's what the learning process is. So it's more important to practice even 5 minutes a day. And I know people say, I don't have time to practice. I don't have time to, and I understand that in a lot of situations with children or grandchildren or work or just staying busy with life. But you also make time for the things you love. Now, my suggestion is when I say as often as you can, that does not mean to sit down and practice for 30 minutes every day or an hour every day. Here's what I mean by that. You practice, if all the time you have is 5 minutes a day, and the next day you only have 5 minutes a day, and the next day, even 5 minutes a day, every day, or every other day, is better than practicing one long period or two long periods. And what you want to do is just, people think, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that as far as, getting it down. Anytime you're practicing 5 minutes a day, you're moving forward. All right. You're winning as long as you keep that consistency up. That's when things are going to get easier. And I'll use an example. If you're doing guitar, for example, and your fingers hurt, if you practice guitar and you're a beginner, your fingers are going to hurt. And then let's say you don't practice for another week. Your fingers will never develop the toughness or the sense, to dull that sensation unless you're doing it on a consistent basis. And that's just one tiny example. So what you want to do is you want to practice more often and not worry about how long you practice. But to answer that question, if you're practicing and you start to get bored or worse, frustrated, walk away. All right. And I'm not saying walk away for the day necessarily. Walk away and go have some ice cream or something enjoyable. And then if you want, come back. But if you get frustrated, walk away, even if it is for the day. It's better to just sit for those 5 minutes and just even playing every day. If you say, well, I don't want to practice, even just playing a little bit every day is better than practicing, putting it up on the wall or in its case and then letting it sit. So what you want to do is you want to keep that consistency. And when you get tired, when you get bored, then what you want to do is you want to put that aside, all right, just for a little bit until you feel that need or that urge to practice again. All right, so I wanted to hit that. I wanted to cover that. When I say I'm back, I'm going to be posting new videos now for the public on Ko-fi. I have, as I said, a year's worth for all those instruments. That is exclusive to those who support me, and I'll be honest, they're the best of the best. However, on YouTube, I still have 200 lessons, I believe, close to 200 for hammer dulcimer, mountain dulcimer, clawhammer, banjo. I'm building up the concertina, and I hope you enjoy these lessons. They're absolutely free. And if you use them, and if you enjoy them, I would ask that you would consider supporting us on Ko-fi. K-O-F-I. You'll get exclusive lessons. We meet once a month for jams or gathering talking. Sometimes they get free workshops. But if you would consider doing that, it would be greatly appreciated. And again, enjoy the lessons. They'll be coming soon. God bless.